Good morning. Hi. I'm Liz. I am one half of the team at Rising Tide Women. Lindsay should be on shortly. For those of you who don't know us and what we do, we work with expectant families and postpartum families. Honestly, we love working with people from pre-conception and postpartum. Um, but we offer birth classes, which is what we're going to talk about today. Hi. How are you?
I'm
Oh,
good. It was getting a little flippy, so I don't know if it's
I
the
know.
weather or what. So hopefully we won't freeze up today.
I know. I feel like it happens every week and like we just I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. Um so just like birth, we just roll with it with whatever comes
Yeah,
and we just
yeah.
continue.
Just
Um
just keep going.
yeah. And so I was just describing what we do. I was talking about how we offer birth classes, which is what we're talking about today. And Lindsay is our amazing birth doula. She does the really like, I feel like we don't brag about this, but I want to just brag on you for like a second, Lindsay, because I love working with Lindsay because I think that she is really like she provides like just the highest level of professionalism and support and just loving energy. And Lindsay, I love seeing you in action. I love the work that you do. I know I'm embarrassing the heck out of you right now, but I just feel like I want to like tell everyone that like this is not your average doula. You're amazing. So,
I appreciate that. So, you
don't
know,
even.
okay. Thank you.
Um, so yeah, so we do obviously birth support. I do occasional doula clients, only those who are scheduled cesarean. That's my specialty.
And you're on. Liz,
Oh
where are
no.
you?
Oh, and Kristen says you are amazing. You are.
And Chris is phenomenal.
Oh, good. I'm glad you got the Lindsay Love Fest too, Kristen. It's I just love Lindsay. Um, Yeah, and so we also do postpartum support. So Lindsay and I are both postpartum doulas. We support families after birth. I do, more focused lactation support, and that is really my wheelhouse and what my area of geekery. So, so good.
Postpartum work, my area of expertise is like laundry and making sure that you're eating.
Yes. Yeah, feeding people is also also firmly in my wheelhouse.
I love it. Whenever I do postpartum work and I'm like, so what can we get you to eat? And our clients are like almost confused about it because I'm like, yes, this is important. Like this is part of what we do. Like, can I get you something to eat? Do you want to make yourself a sandwich? Like, how are we gonna get you food right now? Everybody
Yes.
is always shocked at this part. I'm like, yeah, you gotta eat.
It's so important to that recovery.
Right.
So, in
But
a nutshell,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, in a
Stay with
nutshell,
my
that is what we do. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but today we're gonna touch on some points about our birth education, not all birth education, but what we do specifically and how we set ourselves apart from other classes. Um,
Yeah. And I love talking about this because I actually used to teach hospital birth classes. Um, and I loved them. I loved doing it. I loved working with the families. I'm still in touch with some of the families that took my birth classes. And I loved it, but it's very different teaching in a hospital versus teaching. That was our first one. Um, am I back? Can you hear me? Okay, I was like, where'd I go? So
We're gonna look. We're gonna have to like fly through this one.
that was just the first one. That's fine. Um, yeah, but I don't know what how much people caught, but I was saying like it's just really different teaching in a hospital versus teaching a private class, and I'm really excited to dive into some of those differences because I feel like a lot of people don't know. I know when I was pregnant, I really had no idea like what my options were for birth classes and what made all my options different.
Right. Um, so I wrote down a couple of points that will show up in a blog later on with this video so that you guys can all kind of review or comment and let us know. Think, Liz, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can. Can
Can
you
you?
hear me?
I can, yeah. So I just want to, so number one with our classes, like it's about location. So you can have a birth preparation class, birth education, whatever you want to call it, in the privacy of your own home with you and your partner, or if there's one birthing parent and we will cater to your needs, you can gather up a few friends and have a group class in the privacy of your own home. Um, we are also exploring other venues where we can have small classes where folks can sign up or you can gather again a group of friends. And what's great about that is that you get kind of an automatic due date club and you get an immediate group of people that are due around the same time and you can share a lot of experiences together and form a bond that, like Liz was saying, lasts really probably a lifetime, but definitely long into your parenting journey. So I do think that location matters. The places that we choose to have our classes, if they're not in your home, um, there is access to food and bathrooms, and the seating is comfortable and it's warm and inviting. And especially if you're at home on your own couch or wherever you want to be set up, I mean, you have the freedom to ask all the questions that you want and not feel like you need to hold back or you don't want to say certain words or touch on certain topics. There really is this comfort in learning in an environment where you feel most safe.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I think one thing that we are really good at is creating that safe environment, even, kind of wherever we are. That's one of the things I hear about my group in Eastham is like it's just a really relaxed atmosphere. And so I think like even when we start doing our small group classes, I'm really excited for the atmosphere that we can create in there too. Just like to have everybody feel really safe and comfortable, and really get to know each other. I think yeah, I know you and I have talked about this, but we like want people to be like creating their own Facebook group, like by the end of the first break, like, which is,
Right?
it's okay
That's
if you
first.
don't want to.
Yeah, like right. tea break, we want you guys like exchanging phone numbers and following each other on Facebook and really starting to create that community right off the bat. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's one. Hi,
I,
I'm here. Sorry.
that face was
The
just,
location.
this connection today sucks.
It's the weather that's coming. So um, that's what I'm kind of saying that
We'll
it is.
chalk it up to that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So another point is realistic expectations.
Oh my God. I feel like I could deliver like a whole dissertation on the impact of unrealistic expectations on your parenting experience.
Right. So with our classes, we're going to give you the straight up facts and things that you need to know about birth, whether you're having your baby in a hospital, a birth center, or at home, because we have experience with both, like with hospital and home birth,
Yeah.
personally and professionally. So your classes can even be catered to your experience that you're planning. And we'll also touch on things that you should have a heads up on no matter where you're having your baby. Because some people plan to have a hospital birth, and guess what? Babies come at home. And some people plan a home birth, and those babies are born in hospitals sometimes. So we want you to have a realistic expectation. We're not going to sugarcoat anything, and we're also not going to tell you what you have to do. We're going to
No.
lay out the menu and say, here are a whole lot of options. Here are the resources that you should be looking at. We, all of our birth education clients get access to the Harbor, which, if you haven't heard about the Harbor, or if you are a client of ours and you have not gone to the Harbor yet on our website, please do.
Yeah.
All your resources are right there. It's password protected, so it is just for our clients, but all of your resources and things that not just your friends and other people are going to give you, like really solid information, great links to read. Um,
Yeah.
so that's another reason to take our class.
Yeah. We've spent a lot of time really curating that
Yeah.
information, and I spent a lot of time building it. I don't know, maybe I don't know if people know I build all of our website. Um, so we've spent a lot of time really curating that information so that it's evidence-based, it's good, and it's not scary. You know, I think we always tell people like, please don't Google pregnancy advice, please don't Google breastfeeding advice, because there's so much that's like scary and wildly inaccurate out there.
Right. Like, let us be your Google machine. You know, we're cool with being contacted with your questions. If you haven't found it in the Harbor, then let us know. We'll help you, because even there's a lot of information. So we'll help you figure all that out. I mean, if any of our past clients are watching right now, you know how big I am on sending you links and making sure that you get the right information. I don't know if you read everything, but I
We study.
want you to have all of the good stuff. So, another point that we want to bring up is bigger groups equal a lower cost to you. Okay, so private birth education does come at a higher rate, and that's because either the classes are done privately. Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that. Um, the Yes, you can opt to have a private class in your home. However, if you want to bring the cost down, gather up some friends that are due around the same time, and boom, the price goes down for you all individually, and then you also get to be with your friends. And a point I want to just make is, when you're with your friends, you can, we kind of, hello, um
It's
we
my
can
dog.
get a
I'll be.
little silly, and yes, we can be more relaxed. And discuss things that maybe you wouldn't be comfortable talking about with a large group of people that you don't know. And really, like, number one, when it comes to having a baby, you need to feel safe. So that has to begin when you're getting your education. You need to feel like it's a safe place to talk about the anatomy and the literal ins and outs of having a baby.
Yeah.
So bigger groups, lower cost.
Yeah. And I think too, like some of the stuff that we talk about is like, it's considered a little bit taboo talking. I mean, just talking about vaginas is like a little bit taboo in our culture. And I think like this, having a class, whether it's private or a group class with us, is like really an opportunity to kind of break through some of those barriers and be able to talk really frankly about what's going on. I love that we're both sitting here with our dogs. Mine is off camera, but
Ah!
he's like, I keep having to go to tend him. He has an ear infection. Oh, you're frozen again.
Oh, yes.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
And we're both sitting here with our dogs. I have Link.
We've got our dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of like keep moving through this so we don't keep blipping out, and we've already touched on it. Community. Community starts in our class. A lot of new parents are like, how are my friends? Where are my people going? Where's my support system, after the baby arrives? It starts in your birth education class. Again, we want you guys by the first pee or snack break to be chatting, not going into your separate little corners, but keeping that energy going and really forming a bond as soon as possible, because those people are going to have children around the same ages. And as much as we want to have a new parents group in every town from the South Shore to the Cape, we can't do that. Not right now, but we want you to get the confidence to start reaching out to your friends and to your people. And also the great thing about it is that you'll all have the same education, so there will be a lot of consistency in what you discuss and being on the same page together.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think like I just think it's so important. I think that's like it's so important to us as people, as moms, to really like build that community
Mm-hmm.
around our people because it's hard to find, and so much of what we hear from new parents is that they don't have that village. They really, you feel like you need it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
hard because in our culture, you really have to build your own if you don't have like a, local close-knit family.
Right. And a lot of people these days don't live right
No,
near family.
most people don't.
And there's a lot of outdated information, or even just information that just kind of keeps getting circled and recirculated, and it kind of becomes like stale air, and it's not good for you. You need fresh air and new information. And Liz and I, we stay on top of the new research that's coming out, and we delve further into it because it's interesting to us, and we also want to give you the best. So building that community, being on the same page with your birth classmates or whatever you want to call them, is a really great thing. And then what I say, the number one reason to take a rising tide women birth education class is being around Liz and I. You're getting you're getting this, but in person. So yes, you're going to get people who are serious and dedicated to this work, but you're also getting two really awesome women who know how to have fun and want you to feel relaxed and confident in everything. We're not looking to make you feel like you have to do your pregnancy and your parenting and your feeding a certain way. We want to be cool with you. We want to have we want to have fun. Yes, we're going to tell you you're amazing. We're going to inspire you when you need that, but also sometimes like you just need someone to have my shoe just got stolen by the dog. You need someone to have a good laugh with or be like just frank and honest with each other and say like is it really always this hard or it's just not fun today and we're going to be there to say no it isn't, it's crummy sometimes or it's just not always us sprinkling daisies and we're going to give you what you need. We're going to listen to you and learn who you are as a person and give you what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like a big part of it is, you know,
Sorry.
we have a good time, but we also do take this very seriously. And
Yeah.
I love that we like, I think that we really hold this time as sacred. We really like, we know that the period around giving birth is like a really vulnerable time in your life, but also
Right.
like, and I don't see these as conflicting at all, but also it's a time that you can kind of laugh about it and you can have fun and like, there's going to be hard times, but you're going to also find so much joy. And we want to be able to balance those two things without judgment and without like just meeting you where you are at, and I think a lot of people take a birth class because they're a little nervous about birth, but I also think a lot of people don't take a birth class because they're nervous about birth and they're worried it will make them more nervous. Um,
Yes.
and that's a thing that I hear, and I always am like, no, like our goal, we are not out to like traumatize you with extra graphic birth videos, although I would argue that those are not traumatic or they shouldn't be. But also, like, our goal is to really teach you about what's going to happen and to have you walk out of our class feeling more confident and less nervous than when you walked in. We want you to come out feeling like, I got this, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and also one of my favorite things in a class is when someone starts off really like with this vision of what birth is based on Hollywood and they have all these like embedded negative feelings about birth. And one of the best things is when class is over or we're at the first break and people are like, I feel so much better already. And but another cool thing I love about our classes is when someone's like eyes light up and they're like, I had no idea about this, or that is such a cool fact, or and we're not looking to change your vision of your birth however you want to give birth. We're here to say like that's that's amazing. Here's some information about that so that you can continue to plan or make whatever decisions you want to. Um, but our birth classes are geared towards whatever like the overall whatever people are wanting out of it, and everybody has different expectations. We also have been contacted to do parenting classes for those that are on a different parenting journey. It's not just about the process of like giving birth, but we've catered to all sorts of families who aren't looking to give birth, but they're looking to start a family in many different ways, and we're there to support them through
Yeah.
that as well. Like, we can literally do anything you want.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like that was the thing when I was teaching birth classes in the hospital. And they were great and we made them fun, but it was like we knew, and part of what was I think good about it is that I knew the providers. I knew what providers were giving birth. It was a small community hospital. And we sort of knew what people could expect out of their experience because I worked on the maternity unit. But the downside is that I sort of knew what people could expect on the maternity, and I think like it was and it wasn't that it was a bad hospital, but it's like, it's kind of a one size fits all approach to teaching birth. And really, like, there was kind of unspoken pressure to like teach to the experience that the hospital was offering. Like I was kind of down in the basement teaching my classes and nobody paid attention, um but it was like, I knew that if I knew there were things that I kind of couldn't say. And, every hospital class is different. I'm not like trashing hospital classes at all because I think they are so valuable. But I think too, like there is a lot to say about what those pressures look like, even for a professional who is really knowledgeable, who really wants to do the best by their patients, but they also need to keep their job and pay the bills, you know, like, um, so I think that like it's really great to have an independent birth class because then there's just a little more freedom. It just feels a little more comfortable for everybody involved. And that was a difference I really didn't know, before I had my first babies. Like when I was pregnant with the twins, we took our local hospital birth class and we learned about the midwives and we learned about, vaginal birth. And then there was like, and here's a C-section video just in case, but you won't need that. And, and then my experience was so different than that. I ended up getting transferred to a different hospital. So we had a whole different hospital, whole different providers, whole different experience. And I really remember feeling like, gosh, I wish I had known more about what what was likely to happen for me, you know. And I think that that's really what you get in in one of our classes. It's much more individualized. It's much more like if you have a certain circumstance that affects your pregnancy, we're able to really dive into that and say, here's how this might affect, breastfeeding after birth. Here's how it might affect your birth experience and what you're likely to encounter in the hospital. It's not one size fits all. And I love that so much.
I do too. I do too. There's space for everyone with Rising Tide, and we just want you all to know that, and whatever your choices are, to get the best information that's out there. And that's why we are, certified to teach and really put a lot of work into our classes. Sometimes are, the people that take class with us, they are a doula client of ours, and that's great too, because that helps the whole process be seamless, from
Yeah.
your education to me or Liz doing your birth doula. And then every single birth doula client, our package includes a visit with Liz for lactation. So
Yeah.
literally we go from pregnancy to lactation, and you're getting the same people and the same education and whatever extra help you need, because we can't do it all and we don't want to do it all. We don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none and
Yeah.
mediocre. We want to be the best at what we do. So that's why we focus on what we focus on, and anything else we send you to the best
Yeah.
providers, because it really is this wonderful net of of support and care. I was outside walking my dog this morning, and there was this huge, beautiful spider web. And usually I'm kind of like, ooh, spider web, and I get a little grossed out. But I took the time to look at it and the detail in the spider web, and all I could think about was like, wow, this reminds me of the safety net and the care, and each rung, represents another person in your team. Birth doesn't have to be a solo thing. You're not weak if you reach out for help. You are not a bad parent if you don't automatically know everything about it and what you're doing. You need help. And I wish I had known that when I was pregnant with my first, because I
Yeah.
didn't take birth education. Um, I knew what I knew, and I was okay with that. But I had really, now that I know what I know, I'm like, like that's such cool information. Not, oh, I, know better, do better. Like, there was so much cool information. I'm like, like,
Yeah.
I just wish I knew that tidbit. It probably wouldn't have changed anything, but like, neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's huge. And, one thing we haven't mentioned is, so this is really, our birth classes are for folks who are local, but if you are not lucky enough to be local, we have our lifeboat program, and I want to put in a
Uh,
plug for it because
yeah,
we are just rounding out our December and January
yep,
lifeboat group. So we still have a few spots left. The women who are in there are really cool, just really fascinating, awesome women. I'm really excited. We have our September lifeboat is going right now. Um, and they are similarly an amazing group of women, and we love them. And it's so cool because we really get to know what our lifeboaters need, and we include an entire birth class in
yep,
our lifeboat program. So actually that's like a really, like, we're still building that program, so it's a really inexpensive way to get a whole lot of support. So
wow,
yeah, so I want to just put in a plug for our lifeboat program, and that there is a whole birth class in that. And we also include, we haven't touched on this, but we also include breastfeeding education. In
yeah,
our birth classes, we found that a lot of people were not paying extra for that breastfeeding class, that prenatal breastfeeding class. And I saw that at the hospital too. A lot of people just, and I think it's like, I remember before I had kids, I was like, oh, it's natural. You just stick them on and they do their thing.
like
And
Velcro.
then I had preemie twins. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then I had preemie twins and everything went haywire. But I think that education is so important. And so we decided, Lindsay and I, just like we just decided to build lactation support into our doula packages, we decided to just build that into our birth classes because we feel like
Yep,
it's really important. And if we have a client who is not breastfeeding, this is,
yep,
again, we get to tailor to that and without
yeah,
judgment. Like, I'm
yeah,
such a believer in, if you don't want to breastfeed, like, I want to make sure you're making an informed decision, but I'm also going to assume that you're a grown up and you can make the right decision for you and your baby. And it's not my job to sell you on breastfeeding. It's my job to support you. And
right.
I get a little feisty about it because, like, I think breastfeeding is amazing. Um, but it's not necessarily what's best for every single mother baby dyad. And I think that we really need to understand that and support families, whatever their journey looks like. So that's like a piece of it, is sometimes people will ask, like, well, I want to take your birth class, but I don't plan to breastfeed. And that's
Yeah,
okay. We're going to talk
yeah,
about what physiological changes are going to happen in your breasts, because a
right,
lot of those happen regardless.
right,
And we're going to talk about how to feed your baby, how to safely formula feed, or bottle
right,
feed breast milk, or whatever your
right,
plan is. We're going to talk about how to do it.
right. When to start pumping, when to do this and that. It's great. And also, if you know, for our birth doula clients that get the lactation visit, we want you to know that if you are choosing to not breastfeed, a visit with Liz is still a wonderful opportunity to have another rising tide doula in your home to support you and walk you through the changes in your body and how to deal with it best so that you're most comfortable. And, you know, and it's also okay if you're planning not to breastfeed and then you get your baby and you're like, oh, I guess I'll give it a whirl. And sometimes it's, you can change your mind and do whatever you want. So really, you get two doulas for the price of one, and we can't stress the value and like the deal in that. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty
It's
cool.
yeah,
So
I love it.
yeah, yes. And all, as always, phone support, text support, even for those who take just our class, you still you still get our support. We're not going to end class and be like, okay, see you later. Like we're gonna want to be there for you and know what's going on, and how to support you best through it all. So we're not going to cut you off and be done with you.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
can't do that. Like,
We're not good at that. Yeah. So yeah, if you have questions about birth classes, about setting one up, whether it's group or individual, really let us know. Get in touch with us. Our phone number is on the website. Our email is on the website. If you want to just learn more, you can check out our website, risingtidewomen.com. If you want to learn more about the Lifeboat program, we will be opening next month for February and March due dates. But right now we're registering for December and January. So that is risingtidewomen.com/lifeboat. We try to keep the URLs really easy to remember and type in.
yes.
So yeah, if you want to learn more about what we do and get in touch with us, that's where you can find us, or reach out here on Facebook.
Right. And we'll leave you guys a couple links, and be watching for a blog post from us kind of recapping everything that we talked about.
Yeah. All right,
And let your friends.
Lindsay.
All right.
Yeah, let your
Bye.
friends know. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.